And joining us now with more on Hezbollah's attack on northern Israel is Yaakov Selavan, the deputy head of the Golan Regional Council in northern Israel. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So the north came under heavy attack from Hezbollah this morning, over 300 rockets and dozens of drones. How are you doing, and what is the situation like now?
So right now things are quiet but very tense. This morning, very early, we woke up to the understanding that we're going into a day of battle. And we had to cancel all summer camps, all community activities, all educational activities in the Golan, specifically where I'm speaking from. We have 0 seconds to reach shelters. Therefore, we had to tell all of our citizens, all of our residents, to be right by bomb shelters. And in the last few hours, the Home Front Command has allowed us to do a few more things. We were able to open several pools, libraries, but still, things are very tense here. People are scared to go do their daily activities, and we understand that it's not over yet.
And the defense minister has said that the next 48 hours are critical. I mean, what is the feeling among the residents in the north? You said the situation is tense, but are they concerned? Are they hopeful that this might end up resolving the situation? I mean, what can you tell us?
Listen, we've been in war for almost 11 months now. What everyone saw this morning in the news, rockets and killer drones, is our weekly routine. And many people don't understand that. The feeling here in the north by the residents is that there is not enough of an understanding of what we're going through. I remind you that Sunday we're supposed to start the school year, but many parents don't feel it's safe to send their children on buses, on the roads, which are often under attack. And I got to tell you that this morning, with all the fact that we understood we're going into something that's very dangerous and very tense, there was some hope that finally the Israeli government and Israeli army are making a game-changing move against Hezbollah. We're very hopeful that maybe this strike that the IDF carried out, the successful strike, I must say, will maybe be a game changer that will create deterrence and allow to maybe bring a resolution that we can live with and people will feel comfortable starting the school year. However, the fact that after 350 rockets and killer drone attacks, the Israeli army and the home front say, okay, now we're going back to usual, brings a huge disappointment. People are very disappointed. We understand we will need to pay a price in order to allow the Israeli army to bring a resolution. We're willing to pay it, but it needs to be a good resolution.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's important also to mention that there are still, tens of thousands of displaced Israelis from the northern communities. I mean, do you see an end in sight?
So, correct, we have 85,000 people who are refugees. Many of them, by the way, live in the Golan. I must say that the Golan wasn't evacuated. We made a moral and strategic decision that we are not leaving because we see what's happening in the communities where people were evacuated. The death toll is rising. People are just dying, and not from attacks, just from being away from home for 11 months. Unemployment, families falling apart, communities falling apart. We are standing our ground. And unfortunately, no, there isn't any hope in sight because, again, as I mentioned before, people don't feel safe to come back home. And this morning, we had some hope that maybe a game-changing act that will allow people to feel safe to come back home is happening. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And I'll say more than that. We're losing these communities not just because of people who are scared to come home, but also many people who were evacuated and are now living in the center of the country and not in the periphery, not in the frontier, suddenly are understanding what is life like in Tel Aviv and in Netanya. And as a friend of mine told me, why should I go back to the Lebanese border when I have malls all over me and great cinemas and culture and medical services? Life is great here. So if the Israeli government doesn't wake up and doesn't understand that we, first of all, need to allow people to feel safe to come back home, but also to create something extraordinary up here, that people will want to come up north, then it's the end of Zionism up here, and communities won't be able to get back to normal life here.
A harsh message to the government. Well, Yaakov, we hope that you'll see quieter days and send our solidarity with Israel's northern citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, and it's important to say we're strong, we're resilient, and we're going to win.
Absolutely.